Yes. Okay. Okay. Good morning, brother Shah Yeong.
Good
We are
afternoon.
really appreciate for you be having here in
Mm-hmm.
this weekend English talk. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe for today we are going to discuss about neighbors with story about maybe how you can be really good at English or maybe how can you learn many things out there. Okay. So first, let me introduce
Okay.
myself. My name is Arghaniy Pradhana. Then
Hello, my name is Farabi Zhafran Ardinal.
Mm-hmm. How can I call you?
For my friend, for just call him Arga,
Okay. Arga
and
and
just call me Zafran, bro.
Zhafran. Okay, Zhafran.
okay. Okay. So maybe for the opening question, like uh, when I hear you talk, like I'm like really surprised that your pronunciation in English are really good. So basically, like
Mm-hmm.
how can we learn that? I mean, how can we learn pronunciation like that so that our English can be that good?
Ah, before we proceed, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Shah Yeong. I currently am studying in Blitar, in Blitar city of East Java, in a small place called it's not too small. It's a pretty big place called SMA Satu Negeri Blitar. SMA Negeri Satu Blitar. Um, I'm a third year there. I'm a senior, and I'll be graduating this year. And in regards to how do you get good at English? Yeah, that's a topic that a lot of people ask me. Um, in your opinion, in your opinion, how do you think you can be proficient at English? How do you think you'll be able to get good at English? I want to ask you first what you think.
Yeah. Maybe in my opinion, for me to get better at English, maybe uh, when I was in kindergarten, for information,
Mm-hmm.
I go to school that really often to speak English, and then sometimes I also learn English by watching like English documentary like Net Geo Wild, because the narrator often speak English, and then also by active speaking English, maybe I can improve my English. Maybe that's for my opinion.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Farah? What about you, Zafran? What are your opinions on how to get good
How
at
can you get
English?
English?
So well, actually, few years back from 2016, I once gone abroad to other countries, and then
Oh,
I
you went
learned.
abroad.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I went to
And
Australia, and then from there,
Australia.
yes, I actually go to
Mm-hmm.
kindergarten there for a short time.
Oh, you went to kindergarten there. That's really
Yes.
nice. That's really nice. I've got a friend in Australia as well. I've got I wouldn't call her like a personal friend. She's a family friend, if you get what I mean. So,
Oh,
is that what are your thoughts on how we can get good at English?
my thought is we should always improve our language
How?
because if we don't, we have a short. If we don't improve our English, we can't achieve something bigger because
Mm-hmm.
because
Because.
of usually many work are in abroad. So if we want to
Mm-hmm.
make connections, we
Mm-hmm.
need to learn languages from other countries.
Uh-huh. But my question is, how do you think we can get better at English? Because you two asked me how to get good at English. So I want to ask you guys first, what do you think is the way to become better at English? Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Of course, we need to learn from small things like application applicate it in everyday life lah.
Mm-hmm.
So we can learn more uh,
Mm-hmm.
and we could be more good at English. So
Mm-hmm.
when I was in Australia before, I at first don't know how to use English.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned English because of using it every day in life and watching from YouTube lah.
Mm-hmm. From YouTube and stuff, yeah. Okay, in regards to how I got good at English, personally myself, English was my first language. Yeah, it is, and will always be my first language and my main language. But my English, my accent has not always been like this. If you'd excuse me, uh, my English accent used to be like this. The Malay, the Minglish, you know Minglish, like the stereotypical Malay English one, But over
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
but over time, I improved my accent by finding my own voice. I found my own voice by speaking to native speakers. Um, Afghan, Argan. You mentioned that you have to watch a lot and you have to speak actively in English. Yes. Hello, you're muted.
Or like so we active like speak English, but does because of we speak apa tuh? If we active speak English, that it change the our how our pronunciation of speak English.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Zafran, you said that you have to apply English in your daily life. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, if you're to ask me how do I get good at English, how do you get good at English? Is that you have to do both. You have to speak actively and apply it in your daily life. How I went about it, because currently I have been staying in Indonesia for the last 3 years, and the family that I'm staying with does not speak English. Yet my English accent just got better and better. How did I do that? Because I connected with other people online. Um, I used the. Have you ever heard of the platform Discord? Of course you have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So I have a lot of friends there. Well, I used to have a lot of friends. I'm no longer as active as I was when I was younger. But uh, I used to speak every single day on Discord with native speakers. And so by applying speech in your daily life every single day, while also learning and gaining information from native speakers, you're able to create your own voice. That's why my voice is not exactly a Western accent, but it's not exactly Asian either, because it's a mix. It's a mix of both my heritage and also my friends' accent. If you get what I mean. So my biggest suggestion is by immersion. That is to make every single thing in your life be in English and speak in English and speak to native English speakers. And it does not just go for English as well. It goes for every single language that you want to learn in going forwards. For example, I've got this friend in America. He lives in Missouri. His name is Kian. Kian learned Chinese for 3 years at his college, at his local, not local, at his college where he studied at. Um, and after volunteering for 6 months to China personally by himself, he got significantly better in the span of just 6 months rather than the 3 years that he learned in university. And so the biggest thing that you can do to get better at English is immersion by being in an environment that makes you and forces you to speak in English. That is what I have to say about it. And yeah, in the case of Kian, it's Chinese. In the case of me, it's Indonesian. Because I learned Indonesian, aku bisa bicara bahasa Indonesia because I have been staying here for 3 years and I have been actively living here and I'm forced to speak Indonesian. And now I'm fluent in it. So that's how you gain fluency in any language and not just English.
Okay. So basically that if we example live in United States for 3 years, does it really advance of how we speak English and pronunciation? Like because the environment, all peoples of really all speak English.
Well, if you'd ask me, you would gain fluency, yes. But how advanced your level in English will be heavily depends on your willingness to learn. Because fluency and knowledge are two different things. You get me?
Yes, I
When
understand.
you immerse yourself, yourself, you are able to speak it clearly and you're able to practice how fast it's. For example, if you were to go to the gym, for example, if you were to lift the same weight, you'll be able to lift it again and again faster. Yes?
Yes,
But
like
you won't get stronger. You will only get faster. Yes? And you will only
yeah,
get stronger if you put heavier weights. And that's the same thing. The more you speak, the faster you'll be able to process English, but you'll also have to supplement it by learning English by yourself, by reading, for example. My main source is by reading. For example, I have a collection of books. For example, this book. It is The Setting Sun by Osamu Dazai, and I've read it from front to back, and it's an amazing book. I would highly recommend it. But in regards to how to expand your knowledge in English and your vocabulary, as well as how to use English, you should read a lot more books, as well as immersion.
so basically, the more we often to speak English, and then like the more we really willing to speak English, and that because of that we can really like make our English more better by willing to speak English more.
Yes, by experiencing it, not just speaking, but by experiencing it.
Oh, so because of experience that we can upgrade our English.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
That is what I have from my experience. Again, not just in English, in any and every language that you want to learn.
Okay, but uh, for me, okay, for me, like, how can you like advance your English by talking to native speakers in Discord? Like, is it that from texting them or maybe chatting with them, or like uh, often to having a call with them?
Having a lot of calls with them. Chatting helps you build um, your sentence structure skills, your sentence formulating skills. You'll be able to think sentences quicker, but you won't necessarily be able to speak it faster. So speaking is what makes you better. Speaking is what makes you more fluent. So for me, on Discord, I used to talk with my friends every single day when I was a lot younger. Nowadays, though, I don't have as much time as usual. And so, because I don't have as much time as I used to, I don't really talk to them as much anymore. But I still do occasionally talk to them, maybe once a week.
So like so basically like if we example in this school, uh, I have a friend from Canada. Like maybe if we, I mean, if me and him often talk, like we have the experience to talk to people from other country. Does it also can improve our English?
Yes, very much so. That is actually what I'm doing with my own friend. I am mentoring and teaching my own friends, and I bring them over to my house every single day. And whenever they do stay at my place, I force them to speak in English, and I speak in English to them. And as a result, they are getting better and more fluent at English. Their accent may not be there yet, but they think faster and they speak faster.
Okay.
Mhm.
No, you.
Now, Brother Young, I want to
Oh,
ask
that's a
a
lot of
question.
echo.
Yes,
Hmm.
I want to ask a question about the school in Blitar. How about it?
um, okay. Would you like to ask about my experience in my middle school or my high school or both?
In high school.
In high school, okay. Um, to give you a brief background, I went to an international middle school. It's called lab school.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yes. So I went to SMP Lab in Blitar. There's only one of them, and uh, and I loved it there. The teachers were amazing, and they were very supportive, and they were very focused. When I entered a public school, because there are no private schools here. When I entered a public school here, I had a big culture shock in which there were a lot more students than I thought, and the teachers are a lot more busy um, than the ones that I encountered in Malaysia. Because in Malaysia, yes, the teachers are busy, but they're also focused. They're also supported. They are very they are very proactive in teaching students, so much so that they would go to each and every single one of the desks just to just to confirm if the student has understood the material or not. Here, that's not the case at all. And as well as punctuality. Punctuality is not as I observe that not just in schools, but as a whole, punctuality in Indonesia is not as important as it is in Malaysia. Because when people here say you have to be at school by 5:30, what they really mean is that you have to be at school by 7. You get what I mean?
Yes.
Which is very shocking for me when I first came here, and it's something that I'm not really fond of here. But I'm very much surprised to see that there are some students here that are in my high school that are actually amazing people and are very smart and very fluent in English as well. I know two of them. One of them has graduated. The other is was my classmate in 10th grade. Um, and I have other friends as well who are a lot more willing to learn English from me. And so I used to teach English in my English club before I had a lot more on my plate, so I had to drop out. But yes, I used to teach English to others because because of how proactive some people are, and that's what surprised me because a lot of people are very proactive in learning English here.
Oh, yeah, and also I have some questions.
Hmm.
Does staying in Indonesia for 3 years, 3 years, yeah,
3 years, yeah.
3 years, does staying in Indonesia for 3 years affect your English or still still the same, or maybe even better?
I actually got better
Why? Like how?
because when I was in Malaysia, um, I lived in the countryside. So my classmates and my environment were not filled with English, they were filled with Malay, Bahasa Melayu. And so because of that, my English was had an accent like earlier, like I demonstrated earlier. I had a very thick Malaysian accent, you know. But once I got here, I started talking a lot more online. When I was in Malaysia, I didn't talk to people online. But when I came here, I started to talk with people, more people online. I started to connect with people online, and that's how I met you, one of your teachers, which who invited me into this podcast today, because I connected with other people. So, what affects your language is not just your environment, but also how you make your environment. You have to make your own environment. Mhm.
Okay. And also, like, mm, oh yeah, oh yeah, and also, like, maybe you don't need to answer this, but like, what is your current position now? Maybe like you are a mentor, or maybe other else.
Well, I'm still a student. I am still a senior at my school. I'm in my third year. I'm going to graduate next year.
Oh,
I used to be an instructor at my English club, but because of personal issues, I had quit after a couple weeks or after a month or two. I forgot. The point is that I had taught English for a bit, but right now, currently, I'm still.
wow, yeah. So, maybe what is the best advice for us ninth graders? Like, if we want to learn English more and a lot better to get better, to make our future more better.
I'd say number one, make more foreign friends.
Connection.
The number one thing is to make more foreign friends, more connections, more native English speakers as connections. That's number one. Having connections with native English speakers. That's number one. Number two would be probably your own initiative that is to create your environment as well. For example, set your phone's language to English. Buy English novels and finish them actually. Watch and listen to things in English, just as Zhafran said earlier, which is to watch YouTube in English, to play games in English, to create your environment. I'd say those two are the most important things: connections and environment.
So, like, if we had many friends and we often speak English to them, we can what upgrade our English more better, and also make our environment.
Yes,
Uh, but
yes,
speaking of
exactly.
speaking
Create
of
an environment.
environment, like, how can we like create our own environment for English?
For example, again, like I've shown you, I have a lot of different books here. Let me just take them for you. Yeah, I have. Oh yeah, and then there's this book I'm currently reading right now. Where is it? For example, you can surround yourself with books. You can surround yourself with books that are in English. Right now, I'm reading a book called The Little Prince. this my bookmark here. I'm reading this book called The Little Prince, and I am constantly learning new vocabulary from books like these. For example, uh, let's see. Uh, hmm, there's quite a lot of things here. For example, here, there's in chapter 11 of The Little Prince, the first line of it is, and I quote, "The second planet was inhabited by a conceited individual." For example, from there you can learn. If you don't understand what the word conceited is, you can look it up, and then you can apply it into your own environment. Use the word conceited, for example.
So,
You get what I mean?
so like we learn more
Surround your
vocabulary.
Yes, surround your environment with books, with English content, with posters, with um, well, you could say videos with action figures, maybe anything in English, anything really, as long as you engage with it. Buying books, but not touching it, does not do anything for you. The key
Oh,
ingredient in creating your environment is your own um, involvement. Yeah.
oh, oh.
It is your own involvement, and it is your own initiative. If you don't have initiative, then you won't be able to learn a language no matter how hard you try. Learning a language is something that you do actively and not passively.
Yeah,
That's what I have to say. Because
yeah.
even me right now, I'm still learning English every single day. For example, there's this book, uh, Hamlet. It's a book of a play. It's called Hamlet from Shakespeare. I am not able to read this book as well as I would like to, because the English that is contained here is old English, um, and it's very complex. And so by reading this, I'm learning more and more ways to express myself in English. Because even if I'm fluent, I can always get better. I can always get better by reading and by speaking more. So that's an example of that.
Okay. So like if we also like we can create our own environment by reading books, and maybe if the book have like complex vocabularies or maybe the word we don't understand, we can search it up so that we can be better and adapt more of the vocabularies. Yeah.
Yep, that's correct. And as well, you don't need to actually read novels. If you are not someone who reads novels, you can start with comics. I started with comic books. I start with Japanese comic books, mangas.
Oh,
Yes, I started with those before I moved to novels. And so there are stages. You can't expect to sit down, open your book, and be able to read for like 3 to 4 hours like me, because I am used to it. But for someone who is not used to reading, 5 minutes, and they might already be bored. And so, how do you build up to that level? Go slowly and use more accessible ways to learn English. For example, if you would like to watch, for example, One Piece. One Piece is
uh,
a very popular anime. Do you two watch it?
yes, yes, I know.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't watch it, but I know of One Piece. If you want to learn English, buy the comic books or read it online and read in English.
Also,
Start doing
so
that.
we can also improve our English by reading like 100,000 of mangas.
Yep, exactly. And it's also the same way for Japanese and for Chinese, for Korean, for everything. Hmm.
Oh, yeah, okay. But like, yeah, okay. Maybe like another questions. So like
Mhm.
what what benefits that we can get by learning English? Maybe there's a lot, but I want to know more.
Personally, the biggest thing that you can get by learning English is connections.
Connect. Oh yeah, connections.
I My life has changed for the better because of the connections that I've made. And I would not have had those connections had I not been able to speak English. You see?
Yeah.
For example, I have an ambition. My ambition is to become a therapist. And I
Oh
only achieved this ambition. Yes. And I only achieved this ambition because of how much I have talked to other people, how much I've connected with other people. And so I discovered my passion for connecting with others. That's why I want to become a therapist, for example. So the number one thing is connection. Number two is expression. Because in English, you have so many different ways to express yourself, so many different words to describe what you're feeling, so many, so many unique and nuanced ways to elaborate on how you are feeling. And so when you speak in English, there are some words that you can't really translate in Indonesian because they are so nuanced. For example, ebbing. Ebb. Ebb is a word, EBB. The, that is a word that means water receding from the beach to the sea. So it's receding. That's the first definition. The second definition is for something to is for something to slowly go down, to slowly diminish, to slowly dwindle. And so you can't directly translate that into Indonesian because it's so nuanced. You are describing your feelings and emotions through images, through imagery by word. You get what I mean?
yeah.
And that is something that is very beautiful in my opinion. And so those two are the biggest things that I have to say about the benefits of English, the connections you can find, and the ways you can express yourself.
Okay. So yeah. So like I have another question. So if we don't really have many connection, like if we are an introverted person, uh, can we by creating our own environmental, like example, we are an introverted person but we often to read books, maybe like you said, English mangas or maybe novels. Can we like also make it better English by that?
You will gain more depth, but not fluency,
All of
because you
us.
still need to talk to others for fluency. For example, let's say you go to the gym. Let's say you want to go to the gym and you learn all of the ways, all of the sciences, all of the chemistry and biology on how your muscles work, all of the different muscle groups and how they contribute to how big your body gets, for example. But if you never go to the gym, you won't actually get stronger. You will gain more knowledge, you will gain more depth, but you won't gain fluency. The only way to gain fluency is to speak, to use it. So I'd say for those who are introverted, you don't need you don't need to go out and speak to 15 different people. You don't need to do that. But at the very least, try and get out of your comfort zone and try and find just one or two people. I myself I have a friend group of three people. Me, a girl named Nora, and a guy named Joey. Me, Nora, and Joey have been friends for the last 5 years, and we talk to each other very often. And that's all I need. I don't need to talk to new people every day. I can, but I don't need to. And so even if you're introverted, like myself, you can still train your English speaking skills, but you have to inevitably get out of your comfort zone and talk and connect to people, at least one.
So the best way is to like have connection, to have a connection, but not really that many, like 15, 14, but maybe just one or maybe two. So like
Yes, just
can speak to them, not
yes,
just by
just
reading mangas.
exactly. Just one or two meaningful connections are all you need. One or two meaningful connections is all you need in language speaking. And in my experience, like a handful of people are all you need in your life, actually, in life in general. I have 5 people I consider close to me, and they are all I need, outside of family, of course. Mhm.
So so like example, if we have only one close friend, maybe we became close for 5 years, and then we often to speak English. Uh, does that really can like increase our fluency? I think that can.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, definitely, definitely.
Oh yeah.
That's why some language learning programs encourage you to get a language learning partner, because when you have a partner, you speak to them and you learn from each other, and that's how you build fluency.
And also like we don't should we need to like buy course or maybe private learning or something like that to increase our English, or just like having connections to speak with, or maybe like, and also like reading books to increase our English.
I would say courses and tuition is the same thing with every other things in life, and with every other skills. They're a way, they're a shortcut that someone else made for you, but you
Oh,
can still make your own way.
okay.
So
Make up. Oh yeah.
yeah, you can make your own way, uh, by just trial and error. And even if you do buy courses or have tuition, you still won't gain fluency unless you use it. Again, initiation, active participation. Like I've always said earlier, you need to have, and you need to be to take the initiative in learning,
Yeah.
in speaking. Yeah. So I'd say that tuition and courses, they can be helpful, but they're not necessary.
Yeah. And also, just out of my curiosity, like, have you ever joined maybe like a competition, like a speech competition, or maybe like an English competition?
Oh yes, definitely. I've gone to Vietnam for a project pitching competition. Unfortunately, I failed terribly, but I gained a lot of connections there, and I still do talk to some of the people who I found there, and that was last year. And that is what matters, that you put yourself out of your comfort zone, even if you fail terribly, because what you gain from trying in the first place is more valuable than what you gain when you win. That's what I think.
So now I want to ask a question, maybe not uh, connected to the question before that Arga gave. Maybe it's a bit
Yes.
personal. So
Yeah.
how about your studies? Where are you going to go after finishing senior high school?
I'm planning on going to Canada, actually. because I want to learn mental health. And in regards to mental health, the West is more versed and has more depth in it, as well as more awareness than Eastern countries. Here in Indonesia, there's still a lot of stigma. There's still a lot of stigma. Do you understand what stigma is?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a lot of stigma and preconceptions and prejudice against those who go to therapy. They say they say something like, "Oh, you're going to therapy. What do you even do? Do you just talk your feelings? That can you just do that with your mom?" Like a lot of people do that here, and mental health isn't something that is too well researched in the East. So I want to try going to the West first. I want to learn what the West has to offer because they have shown and have spearheaded psychology and mental health. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the East is getting better in terms of mental health, in terms of awareness in mental health. But for now, I think I'd like to go to Canada first, to the West, to learn.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and also I want to ask something, but it's a bit personal. Like,
It's okay.
uh,
I don't mind.
what? No, not what. When did you first time know this English language? Is it
When did I what?
like uh, the first time you learn English?
Oh,
Is it like
English
high
is
school
my
or in school?
no, English is my first language. But the thing is
Oh,
that my English has not been this. My English was never this good. It was right now. My English is the best that it has ever been in my life because I take initiative in reading, in learning, and in reinforcing what I learned by speech. Because just growing up alone, for example, I have this one friend. Let's call her A. Friend A, she lived in Jakarta for most of her life until middle school. And in middle school, she moved into my town, and she still spoke English. She was very fluent in English, but she cannot speak formal English. She's not able to type out formal English, and she needed my help in talking to others when it comes to when she wanted to talk to them politely. So having English as your first language alone won't help you. You need to train your fluency and your depth. Mhm.
thank you. Yeah, and also, can we uh, learn English from technologies like laptop or maybe stuff like that?
Of course, you can. You can learn it through the ways I mentioned earlier, watching YouTube, but listening to podcasts, listening and analyzing lyrics of musics and stuff. You know, of course
Yeah,
you can. And the biggest strength of technology is that it helps you make connection. It makes you help. It helps you create connections with people you would never otherwise meet, and that's the strongest thing about technology.
so like
Mm.
for technology, so like uh, communicating with friends in Discord.
Mm-hmm. Like that, for example.
Oh yeah. Mm, and also, can example if we like late to learn English, like we know we start learning English at uh, 10th grade or maybe like 9th grade. Does it like uh, make our English like not really that good, or like if we already know English since kindergarten, can that make us better at English?
Age doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. initiative does.
So like
Yes.
we
The
need to
more
learn more.
engage, yes, the more you engage and the more you take initiative in learning English, the better you'll be regardless of age.
Right.
So even if there's someone who is fluent in English since kindergarten, and you're only learning how to speak English now, you can still be better than them in the span of like 1 or 2 years if you start immersing yourself and creating that environment and actually putting a lot of effort into the depth and fluency as well. You get what I mean? You can
Yeah.
still be better. All that matters is your effort and how much time you put in.
Like our ambition and willing to speak English.
Yep, your passion for speaking English.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also another personal question, like what is the benefit you can get by being a therapist? If I would like to know.
Oh, but being a what?
Therapist.
A therapist. Oh,
Yeah.
why I want to be a therapist? Because one thing that I've loved in my life is that I love to read books. I love not just books but stories. And so the thing with stories is that human beings are made of stories. Our identity are based on our experiences, which we can talk to people as stories. We can read other people like books. Maybe their books are messy. Maybe they're wired shut. Maybe they are sticky. Maybe some pages are ripped. But that's okay because you can still learn and interact with that book. You can still slowly and gently explore that world that someone else is living in. And for me, I love doing that. I love connecting and I love exploring the worlds of other people. And that's why I want to be a therapist. That is why I want to be a therapist and the benefits that I get because I want to explore and help other people.
Okay.
So that's my answer for that.
Okay. So like, yeah. And but I want to tell first. Sorry if I have really a lot of question, but
No, don't
to be
worry.
honest,
I love the questions. I love the questions. Yeah, don't worry about it.
but to be honest, I really gain really many knowledge. Like example, if you want to speak English, you need to first have a connection to speak with. Not really, uh, no need to have that many connection, like 15, just maybe one or two, and also by creating our personal, not personal, by creating our own environment, like if you love reading books and other stuff. Yeah. So like I gained a lot of knowledge of how
Yes.
to get better at English. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, another thing. Another thing that I have to say is that uh, if you do just want to talk about something, but you can't, but you're not able to. I myself use ChatGPT. I go on ChatGPT sometimes to talk about topics I can't talk with my friends about. For example, psychology or philosophy. Because my friends, when I talk about philosophy with them, they would listen to me for like 5 minutes and then they'll go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they get bored.
So yeah, so I go on ChatGPT and I use this feature, the speech. Hold on, let me just ChatGPT. I got this feature here, uh, the speech, uh, the speech feature here, and so I get to speak. I get to speak and practice, and as well as apply what I've learned what I've learned and all of the knowledge I've accumulated through talking. So you can use ChatGPT too as occasionally to help you develop more English skills because it's a form of practice as well.
So like uh, we can improve. Like example, if we want to talk about something, but maybe our friend get bored, so we can talk to ChatGPT to discuss the topics that we want to talk about.
That's what I do because what I like to do is not to be heard, but it's to explore because again I like to explore worlds. I like to explore stories, and ChatGPT helps me to explore stories by telling me more about them and by challenging my ideas. And by challenging my ideas, I get to explore my own world as well, and that's what makes it super fun for me. And that's what works for me. But you have to find what works for you. Everyone is different, and so you have to find your own technique. But the foundations are still that. They're still connections and depth and initiative and environment.
Okay, okay, maybe Zafran one. Yeah, yeah, maybe for my not questions. Maybe for this closing, can you give us some words that can make us more good at this? Maybe like a motivation word.
Honestly, nothing is stopping you from learning any language. The only thing that's stopping you is yourself. The only thing that's stopping you is um, maybe you don't have enough time. But even if you don't have enough time, you can still, in Indonesian, menyicil, you can still take it bit by bit, take baby steps. And so even if you only have half an hour a day, that's still enough to learn English. It's still enough to do things. And the only thing that's stopping you from learning anything really is yourself. And so lift that mental barrier. Lift that mental barrier like you've never lifted anything before, and then you'll succeed. Give it time. You will fail. It's not a matter of if you fail, it's a matter of when you fail. And when you fail, get back up. Because failure is where you will be able to learn. If you never fail, then you will never learn.
Yeah, I really appreciate the words that you gave to us. Like it's really make us motivated about
Mhm.
when we fail, about yeah, so motivating. Okay,
I'm glad that
maybe
it
yeah.
did.
Okay, maybe for the closing, thank you. I mean, thank you really really much for having you to speak with us because
Yes.
from this
Mhm.
we can tech talk. We gained many knowledge of how can we get better at English.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and thank you for sharing about talking about your schools and where you're going to next in studies.
Mhm.
It's really fun actually talking with
Mhm.
foreigners.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think maybe that's all.
Mhm. And I
So
am also very honored to share a bit of my knowledge with you guys. I'm very honored, and it's also been very fun.
Yes, I really really like really really appreciate of how the knowledge you gave us. Maybe from the knowledge, maybe I can maybe until 2 day or maybe after 3 days I can do what you gave what knowledge that you gave to us. Okay.
Do it today.
Yeah.
Try and do it
Yeah.
tonight. Actually, try it
Yeah.
and do it tonight.
Tonight.
Tonight, try
Well,
it.
maybe that will do. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Maybe first of all, glass again. We really appreciate for you having you to speak with us. Sorry if
Mhm.
we have many questions or maybe some issue,
Don't worry
especially
again.
waiting for my friend to join
Don't
this.
worry again. Again, don't worry about it. Don't worry
Yeah,
about it. It's been
and
very
also my
enjoyable.
pronunciation. Okay,
Don't worry about it. Again, failure is the learning.
okay. Uh, Maybe that is all for us. Sorry if we had a mistake. Well, how to close this?
Yeah, I think that's all. Yeah.
That's all.
Thanks, brother Young, for talking with us once again. I say thanks.
We really appreciate the knowledge that
Mhm.
you gave
And
us.
and thank you too
Yeah.
for having me on the show.
Maybe
Mhm.
for this, okay. Maybe I hope that from this we can English talk, we can be more better at English, and then also for you too. And then I hope
Mhm.
you will become success as a therapist. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Maybe that's all for us. I hope you all can be better. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, how
Yeah, I think that's all.
I already okay. Okay, let's just say. Uh, Sorry for the mistake. Well, okay. How to go say it? Okay. Yeah. Thank you, and then we will study more. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, see you, and
And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope
Waalaikumsalam
you have
warahmatullahi
a great
wabarakatuh.
day.
Thank you.